loyal viewers and outstanding subscribers. It is once again your good friend Wild Elf 26 here at the channel Games Wild Elf 26. And for new viewers, please subscribe and hit like while you can at the beginning. Alright, this is a walk and rant, and it's going to be a few different topics, and here we go, folks. Ready? Alright, as you know, walk and rants are not about the video quality, the image quality. That means nothing in a walk and rant. It's only about the conversation and topics and your wonderful replies. So let's get started in the correct camera angle. Alright. Alrighty, folks, hope you're doing great. Hope your April is a good month and an interesting month. Anywho, yeah, we have a number of topics. We're going to talk too about how modern cars are kind of going the way of the dodo. And I know that might be a wild exaggeration or something, but I'm absolutely serious about it. It's like NASCAR, correct? NASCAR had been messing with the idea of having electric hybrid race cars, right? Because they had been worried about a jump to electric only at some point, and we didn't know how that would affect NASCAR, because the major three in Detroit, you know, a few of them, they have a few electric vehicles, but there hasn't been anything really show-worthy, you know? There hasn't been anything that even if there's a such thing, and I wonder if there really is, of a macho electric vehicle. The only examples I've seen of a macho, you know, a man's macho electric vehicle, there's some guy, he's customizing old muscle cars. He's taking out all the guts of the muscle cars and replacing the engines, the power plants, all that, with various Tesla-style electric vehicle parts. Yeah. And you can go online, you can Google, it's a lime and black painted 68 Mustang, I think it's called the 222 Zombie. And that's the closest thing that I have seen to a macho electric car, you know? And it wasn't made by an electric car company. Heck, even Ford, if they had just seen that video and just started making Mustangs like that one, you know, hey, there you go. You know, you'd have some good sales for the rest of the next 15 or so years. But I don't know, something really bad's happened at all three of the major Detroit companies, with the exception a little bit on Dodge. You know, Dodge did retro classic new cars, and their Hellcat Challenger has been really a great car, you know. It looks awesome. It's the closest thing we're going to get to like a Dukes of Hazzard General Lee for this era, you know. And I'd seen someone, they had actually custom one of the Hellcats to look like the Dukes of Hazzard car, and it actually translated very well. And if any of you remember that commercial where Bo and Luke were being chased by modern police cars that were four-door Dodge Chargers, they were saying how the general just couldn't keep up against the new cars chasing them, so they called up some car dealership or something, and they wanted to get a new one. And in the commercial, they switch it over to a orange, instead of a Charger from the late 60s, beginning of the 70s, they switched it up to a modern era, at the time of the commercial, Dodge Viper in bright orange with the 01. But the problem with the Dodge Viper is it's really not a good comparison. It's not a good substitute modern-wise, because the Challenger, and especially the Challenger Hellcat, that would be an appropriate change-up. But for some reason, the director of the commercial or whatever, producers of the commercial, they decided it had to be the Viper. So I don't understand that. But it was great kudos that they actually had Tom Wopat and John Schneider in the commercial. I thought that was awesome. And it also showed that, you know, it felt like retro fresh. It felt like they could just go ahead and make some episodes, you know? Yeah, and here and now. The show has the fan following, and many of the children of people that were fans when they were children, they've kept the fandom going through the generations. So there was a brief resurgence when the movie was made with Johnny Knoxville, but yeah, it just wasn't quite the same. There were some TV movies of the original Dukes cast, the majority of them that remain, and heck, even today in 2026, Catherine Bach is still looking awesome. She looks awesome. And as I say that, a Challenger Hellcat just drove by. You know, that's good. That's a good sign. But although that one was midnight purple, not the general orange. But yeah, they instead of a Viper, the commercial should have had a Challenger Hellcat. But these TV movies of the Dukes of Hazzard, they had good spirit, you know. I think they did the mood, the vibe, the spirit of the old series really well. And I love the fact that John Schneider, you know, he's happy to talk with anybody about any of the television projects he's been a part of, and he's especially proud of the Dukes of Hazzard. And you know, growing up here in America, right now, Games Wild Elf comes to you from Flagler, Florida. In case anyone tuning in doesn't know that already. And when I was a kid, which was really at the meaty beginning of the 1980s, I was a kid before the 80s too, but my memories don't start till 1980. Yeah. But I tell you, some of the strongest memories were definitely the Dukes of Hazzard, and the whole lineup of television night lineups had some awesome shows back then. You know, everything from Airwolf, Knight Rider, the A-Team, you know, and yeah, you would be sorely absent-minded if you weren't watching some awesome TV at night. And the 80s just produced so much amazing talents, amazing franchises, you know. Television was invented quite a long time ago, you know, back in the beginning of the 50s, you know. But in the 80s, we had a bunch of franchises that popped out of the woodwork. And this one man, Glenn A. Larson, he was involved in a bunch of cool shows. He was just making hit after hit with some of these shows. I remember The Greatest American Hero. That was a superhero thing. Some blonde-haired, curly-haired guy gets a super suit from some aliens, and suddenly he's got superpowers when he wears it, and he gets assigned a government agent that I believe was played by Robert Culp. And it was actually a fun series, you know. And in the 80s, we got to see a lot of reruns, too, of shows that were a little earlier, you know, before the 80s, that kind of spilled into the 80s, too. Wonder Woman with Linda Carter. To me, that was a comic accurate Wonder Woman. At that time in the comics, Wonder Woman did not have the powers to fly. And she had blue eyes and black hair, which Linda Carter did, does. She's an amazing woman in real life. And she had kept that figure, that Wonder Woman physique, for a very long time. And a big kudos to her, I guess the most recent comparison for a superhero actress that did stuff like that would probably be Lucy Lawless playing Xena, Warrior Princess. Yeah, she kept in shape an awful, wonderful long time, And for the more super recent, I guess we would have to look at Scarlett Johansson for her character Black Widow in the Avengers movies. But, oh yeah, and she did that live action Ghost in the Shell. It's an anime, it's a manga that I really enjoy, all the way to Standalone Complex and Standalone Complex Second GIG. But that being said, I like ScarJo. I think she's awesome. I freaking like her since that movie she did with Ewan McGregor. What was it? The Island. Yeah, The Island. That was a good one. But, Hollywood got some criticisms. They were saying they were whitewashing another Asian franchise. And that's absolutely true. It was whitewashed big time. And there's known actresses in Hollywood that could have played the part of Major Makoto, and one of them I believe is what was she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And before that, years before that, she was in the Street Fighter movie with Raul Julia as Chun-Li. She would have made an excellent Major Matoko. But it was just strange, I mean, I give Hollywood their props for trying to do a Ghost in the Shell, but they really did a disservice by not even attempting to do it correctly with the correct casting. And it's one thing if they do not have these type of actors, if they do not have these actors that fit the bill, that have the talent, that could do it, for them to just turn their nose and go with who they think is more popular, that just shows like this blatant disrespect to the material. And Hollywood's been disrespecting materials left and right,